Good evening, everyone. Make yourselves at home for the next couple of minutes and let's talk about anger. Anger is when strong feelings are provoked when you are offended or wronged or when you see cruelty or injustice. Anger isn't always bad, but it must be handled appropriately. Anger itself isn't a problem, it is how you handle it. I used to compare anger to a wild horse. A few can ride it successfully. Anger is not in itself sinful either, but it may lead to sin. Look at the following passages in the Bible. I've put links here above which will take you straight to them. Good evening, everyone. Make yourselves at home for the next couple of minutes and let's talk about anger. Anger is when strong feelings are provoked when you are offended or wronged or when you see cruelty or injustice. Anger isn't always bad, but it must be handled appropriately. Anger itself isn't a problem, it is how you handle it. I used to compare anger to a wild horse. A few can ride it successfully. Anger is not in itself sinful either, but it may lead to sin. Look at the following passages in the Bible. I've put links here above which will take you straight to them. Once again, as we have said before on previous occasions, we must then acknowledge and confess that we had spoken or acted in anger. Admit it to yourself. It is only when we ourselves acknowledge that we have a problem with anger that there is hope. If we hide or deny it, we cannot find healing. Acknowledge it to yourself. Acknowledge it to those who have fallen prey to your anger. Apologize to others for what you have done to them in your anger. I know it's not easy, but this is essential. And then confess it before the Lord and ask Him for His forgiveness. Do we not know the Lord as the God who is gracious and merciful, patient and full of love, who forgives when one repents of sins? Yes, that's still true today. He forgives our acts and everything that goes with anger and flows from it. Then I have to make a conscious decision that I want to handle anger appropriately. We have to realize that anger is not a part of me. This is not who I am. The willful decision is not only a rational, conscious decision, but also a faith decision. On my own, I cannot do this. Of course, the responsibility rests entirely on my shoulders to manage my anger. But I can only do this if I fully trust that the Lord will deliver me from the anger. If He pulls me out of it, I can be free from it. When we have confessed, externalized, and set aside your anger, we must follow up on it with acts of love or positive, constructive acts. Every time we want to get angry again, we have to do more than just count to 10. We need to replace the negative emotion of anger with positive emotion. Think of something beautiful. Try to see the humor in the situation or whatever might work for you. And remember, not all people react the same in the same situation. A person also does not always react the same in a similar situation. An incident that makes you angry one day will only upset you a wee bit the next time. Ultimately, it is not the event itself that provokes the strong emotions in you, but rather how we think about that event. We can learn to look at situations differently. We can change our minds about what is happening to us and what people are telling us. Irrational thoughts can be counteracted. When you think you have to feel bad about being late for a meeting, for instance, you can counteract this with something like, my lateness was due to heavy traffic. We are all late sometimes. And let's keep Romans 12 verse 2 in mind, where it says, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will. Thank you so much for having me. God bless.